where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandobi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pileski goes, dives onto the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys, Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pileski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the left car and around those at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will clip the grass. Oh, a 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. He missed the complete that. He's crazy.
Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He sliced through. He tags Richard.
The Lotus 79 series has seen a significant swing from the start of the season to now. While Nora Lampe dominated early on, his main championship rival Gernot Frisch has come back with a vengeance. And with 2 rounds to go, the Austrian season has gone from one of recovery to one of stamping his authority on the series. Can he put down another dominating win? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 11 of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship, and you'll see it all live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, today the series heads back to the American South to a track you like to describe as the pork chop. Tell us about Road Atlanta.
Well, Joe, yeah, we've got them on the grill and ready to go, but if they built a roller coaster for road racing drivers, it might look a lot like Road Atlanta. Located on 750 acres north of Brazelton, Georgia, this place opened in 1970, and from opening day, drivers have both been hypnotized and horrified by the rhythm of the track that serpentines through 12 corners, rising and falling over its 4 kilometers of asphalt. Now, the facility is utilized for a wide variety of events, including racing and driving schools, corporate programs, and testing for motorsport teams. But perhaps this place best known for the Petite Le Mans endurance race that was first held here in '98. Why don't we hop on board the GSRC Lotus 79 and take a trip around the roller coaster that is Road Atlanta.
All right, we've got Juha Nora Lampe in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Road Atlanta. Coming down to turn 1, passes into here will take some bravery. There's no braking, just a big lift and letting the ground effects and compression carry you through this scary sweeper. Bring it over to the middle of the track to give yourself a good line into the braking for 3. Expect to see lots of mistakes here with the high speeds and blind apex. From there, you'll be feeling out the gas through 4 until you reach the S's, and then finally you can get your foot down. Try to get the car off the right for 5, where once again, the compression helps the car turn in. But it gets light at the top when you try to get to the power, and many drivers have ended their races there over the years. Finally, it's a short breather to 6, where sometimes you can sneak a pass in. The banking carries a lot of speed though, and before you know it, you're into 7. This is easily the most important corner of the track. The launch you get off of here plays a big part in your lap time because you're now onto the long backstretch. Expect some drafting games to happen if 2 drivers are very close on pace. But in the end, you've also got a great passing opportunity into the final chicane. The tricky thing is you can defend from either side, so drivers might try to hang on to the position instead of just rolling over. Out of there, ease onto the power because wheel spin will most certainly be an issue. Watch the bumps under the bridge and then be brave through the final turn. And with that, you've now finished a lap around Road Atlanta. These laps go quick in these high downforce machines, so expect them to rifle through those 36 laps incredibly fast. Now, let's take a look at the points championship this round and one more to go before the season is over. On the driver's side of things, up at the top, as it has been for quite a while, Gernot Frisch leading over Juha Nora Lampe, having had a number of good races all in a row. Juha not being able to really rebound and finish ahead of Gernot for quite a while now is over 50 points back. Calle Ruocola sitting there in third, not too far behind Norlampi. He needs to start looking behind him instead of ahead of him here in these final 2 rounds possibly. Lepisto, who unfortunately did not have a good first qualifying lap, he's going to have another go, is sitting in fourth, also relatively close. And then, as we mentioned last week, Gerd Hoffer just kind of sitting back there in fifth, not really a threat, mostly holding station. Now, Sean, what about the team's championship? How is that looking at the moment?
Well, you know what? It's now tied up at the top. Leger Titan and Albalad Williams, they're sitting knotted up at 212 points each. And a solid effort by the Parmalat team gets them back into this fight with them there. But the top 3 absolutely undecided. You look at Juha's team there, Colin Bennett Racing. He's only 3 points out of the top 3 here in the points. Unipart, unfortunately, back there a little bit too far back to be considered a threat. But the top 4, as you can see, a pretty good battle here with 2 rounds left to go.
Drivers now out on their qualifying laps. As we said, they're very short laps around here, so most already have their first one in. Matt Wood, impressively, is sitting on the pole. Did not expect that. Nicola Kochi sitting in second. Another driver is Wood. Second lap, unfortunately, not going to be very good, as he just had a mistake in turn 5. Didn't go off track, so it still will count, but doubtful that it will be faster than his first go. And in fact, Lepisto takes over that pole position.
Yeah, and then 111.5 is where you want to be right now. That seems to be the fast times getting thrown up. Jared Hofer just goes across Joe for his second lap, and he pulls down a 111.4 that throws him up to the top of the board.
Norlampi just completed his first lap, and he goes to the pole. With 1 to spare, he could still improve. Ruocola currently second behind him, having finished both of his laps. Linda Luato comes across to finish his second lap, sitting in 10th, coming over from the Camel GT series here to join us. Only improves up to 9th, unfortunately.
Yeah, still a good run for the Finn. Top 9, not a bad place to be. There's Pablo Suarez on screen.
How about our championship leader? He's yet to come across for his first lap, Jerno Frisch, the number 1 car. Let's see what he can do for his first lap time. And in fact, yes, I was just double checking to make sure he didn't go for his first lap and simply didn't get a time in here. And in fact, this is his first time lap that he's coming through right now as he completes the chicane up and under the bridge, down the terrifying turn 12, and across the line. What is his first lap time going to be? A 111.4, and that's only good enough for third.
All right, now he's got a little heat in the tires here, Joe. Time to really dig. The tank probably about as light as it can be here. I think Jerno's probably got another fast one in him. Getting down the hill, so tricky here, though. Into the S's and, of course, the ever-dangerous turn 5.
We have other drivers out there putting in their second laps, but most of them not expected to be on pole. Drivers list: Floris Bichard, Barry West, Anson Bennett, Dwayne Benzinger. Typically not up at the front of the pack, so unless we get a real shocker, right now our focus is on Frisch to see whether he can improve. If Norlampi can hold on to this pole, this could be the swing that he needs to try to turn this championship around. Down to the chicane, Jerno Frisch looking nice and tidy. A little bit off the apex on the first part. Coming up and over the hill. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Across the line he goes. What's the second one going to be? Slightly faster, but not fast enough. He's going to be on the front row. This is going to be interesting when that green flag falls.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Watching Barry West now come out of turn 7.
He's actually completed both of his laps, so this is our grid order. Let's go through the field. Juha Norlampi on the pole, significant here today to see if that'll have an effect on the championship. Of course, they don't give points out for where you qualify. It's all about that checkered flag. Jerno Frisch is going to start beside him in second. Kalle Ruokola, he's been on a good streak lately as well. Is going to start third. And Gerd Hoffer sits in fifth in the championship, but going to start fourth today. Antti Lepisto made that mistake on the first lap. That could have cost him. He's only going to be able to start fifth. Matt Wood, despite being on the pole temporarily, gets slotted down to sixth today. Nicola Kochi will be in seventh. Then in row 4, Alex Q will start in eighth. P9 will be John Stevens. And Tapani Lenaluoto will round out our top 10, Sean.
All right, we go back to 11th. It's going to be Steve Bycroft in 12th. Henrik Kamara. 13th going to be Levisu Mihaiscu. 14th going to be Pablo Lamberra Suarez today. 15th Clifton Cockrell. And 16th going to be Peter Konezi. And 16th, 17th Robert Simpkins. Robert Long in 18th today. Francisco Gutierrez 19th. And Floris Bichar 20th.
Shar said that unfortunately he forgot to put his qualifying setup in, which is why he's so far down in 20th. Barry West behind him in 21st. Randy Shoemake will start in 22nd, and the last car to put a time in is Anson Bennett in 23rd. Then the rest of the field, Dwayne Benzinger, Steve Sarles, Michael Hilliard, and Francois Gagné rounding out the field of 27 cars here today. With that, Round 11 here on the Global Sim Racing channel of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship. It's setting up what could be a significant turn in this championship as we wait for the cars to come to the grid. Most of the front runners taking quite a while to get their car down there, double checking, make sure they have the right setup in.
Yeah, don't make a mistake here. It's 2 rounds left to go. A lot on the line. The points chase, points championship is close. Make sure you've got everything in place and be ready here.
Hoffer brings his machine to the grid. Now our pole sitter, Nora Lampe, finally brings that Team Colin car out there. Waiting for those lights to come up, which should be very soon as the last of the cars bring themselves to the grid. And there it is. Lights are up. Green flag is out. And as they come across the line, not that great of a start from Frisch at the start, but he starts to regain ground on Nora Lampe, who squeezes him a little bit to the outside, but manages to hold on to first down through the first corner. As everybody streams through, it looks like it's a safe start.
Oh, and start to get line of stern because you don't want to be side by side down through here. Very, very tricky. So far, so good. Back to the field, Joe.
Wow, Nora Lampe had a great run through turn 3 that gets him a gap over Jerno Frisch, who's now under threat around the outside of turn 5. Kalle Ruokola, he's going to have the inside of turn 2, and he overtakes that second place from Jerno Frisch. Once again, significant in our championship because every position that Frisch loses here offers an opportunity for Nora Lampe to get back into this fight. Down to the chicane they come. Frisch comes back at him. He's got to run out of turn 7 up to turn 10 and 10A. Tries around the outside, but he's denied by Ruokola. Lepisto now on the back of Frisch as they come across to complete lap 1.
Clifton Cockrell back here in a battle. This is for right now for 15th. Peter Kozny, I keep blowing his name, I'm sorry. He's right in the middle of that. Levisu Mihaisu right in the front there, currently in 14th. He lost that spot to Pablo Suarez up there in 13th. Suarez with trouble out of 5. No, I'm sorry, that was Henrik Kamara. Ran it wide out there.
Suarez capitalizes through turn 6. Look at the stack up behind them that is causing, though. That's Cockrell trying to get the inside with the car around behind them. Who is that?
Oh, that was
Peter Konezi. We're going to look at the replay. Did he get hit by another car there? Looks like maybe it was the teammate of Friesch Simpkins.
It was actually Forrest Bishar. Actually, I think that got into the back of him there, the 15. Let's look at it on the replay here real quick, Joe.
Well, that was the initial contact, and then a second contact with Simpkins, who just had no place to go. There you see Bishar turning him around. We come back live. Both Simpkins, Bishar, and the car of Peter are able to continue. Up at the front, Norlampi is holding a gap of about a second over Ruokola. Friesch as well dropping back, dealing with Lepisto, who's been hassling him. In fact, Lepisto has Hofer not too far behind as well. Up at the front, starting to get a little bit of a train forming behind that third place car of Friesch. Does not seem to have great pace today.
Joe, at the back of the field, Francisco Gutierrez really having trouble. He's lost a lot of spots. He had to take the safety road there at the top of the hill at turn 3. Lots of cars getting by because of the time penalty, but he seems to be struggling right now.
Car who got turned around a lap ago, Peter Canesi, coming through around the outside of the backstretch as they head towards the passing zone of the chicane. And ahead of them, a little bit of a battle that we're seeing as well, as Francois Gagny overtakes Dwayne Benzinger. And Gutierrez does get that spot over Peter. Now they've got Robert Long rocking up behind them.
Probably not the first time we're going to see an overtake down in that chicane. There'll be a lot of action down there today, I'm sure, and more action as Flores Bishar runs off out of 2.
That's going to cost him a couple positions. The number 15 slips back into 18th position, but is able to continue on. Interesting that this early on, Sean, we're seeing most cars on track really start to separate.
A lot of separation throughout the field here. Yeah, it's I think a few guys got caught out on the start. It took a little while to get in line, and because of that, I think that's why you're seeing the gaps. But still a really good battle going on here in the top 8, and then you kind of go back to 12th on back for the rest of the fighting.
That seems to be where most of the close battles are, but we'll pop back into the front if any of them start to get closer as we watch Nicola Kochi here in 7th, trying to work on Matt Wood. Kochi running in the Ferrari livery. Wood in the classic Essex car. As they come up through the difficult turn 5, we expect a lot of problems there in that corner. Now up into turn 7, one of the most critical exits on the track here, onto the backstretch, and you can see just how much it can hurt you if you don't get a run off there. Kochi dropping back hand over fist on Matt Wood. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do anything this time down into the chicane. Driver that is going to have a bit of a battle on their hands, Floris Bichard, overtaking Randy Shoemake. This is for 18th spot. He's already got it done, but Shoemake gets back into his slipstream. Could make a counterattack here.
Yeah, I was following this one here down into the chicane. Here we go. Bichard going to hang on to the advantage, Joe.
Meanwhile, Matt Wood having some problems into turn 1. Oh. And that was from some contact, actually, with Kochi, who got a run out of the final corner. And you're going to see here, I'm not sure, did he actually touch him, or did he just react to the car moving over?
Yeah, it was a small touch there. It doesn't end too well for Wood. It's a lot of time lost down there.
I think he managed to just stay out of the tires and able to continue on, but you can see that cost him a lot of spots, down to 13th now, as we jump up to Ruokola, getting chase on Norlampi, holding it just about a second now. Behind them, Lepisto keeps creeping closer and closer to Friesch. He was half a second back, now it's down to 2/10. Over the hill they go. Ooh, he's got a very good run down through the final corner. This could be the best chance he's had. Prix does not defend. Down to the first corner, just a lift through here. Oh, side by side, holding them both up significantly.
Wow.
Gerd Hofer now getting onto the back of him. As he loses a little bit of connection, disappears for a moment. Prix holds him off, but loses that third place to Lepisto. Sean, this is the most we've seen Prix on the back foot since the start of the season.
You know, he just seemed to struggle from the start. I am a bit surprised to see this. Gerd, if Gerd can hang on to his connection here, he's got a great opportunity to take advantage of what could be a struggling Journo Prix. Gerd, a really, really nice run there out of turn 7.
Not good enough, though, as he's getting a little bit of the slipstream to hold him in. Prix closing in on Lepisto now, who leads this train of 3. Lepisto feeling under threat as he goes defensive, down into the chicane. Prix looking for the over-under potentially, trying to get the momentum off the corner, but can't find it as they come down the hill. But look at Hofer peeking to the inside of that final corner. Prix cuts him off at the apex, and they're going to stay in line. Lepisto, Prix, Hofer.
Joe, Kochi and Q have been at it now 3 times. They've changed position in the same lap.
Close stuff through that turn 1, but Q holding on around the outside. That was impressive stuff.
Really was, and I don't recall seeing Q this season. He has come in and really, really laying it down, up a couple of spots, and boy, pulled off a really good move on Kochi there. Now Kochi's got to be careful because here comes Stepani.
I was going to say Linda Luoto getting into the mix here. In 8th now after starting in 10th. We know he can work his way around these high downforce cars coming from the Nissan and the Camel GT series. As he moves a little bit older in time here in the Lotus 79, certainly getting the hang of it. He's going to have the slipstream on that Ferrari.
Boy, it doesn't seem to get too much on him right there. Now, as we get down the hill, yeah, everybody just kind of holds it in line there. Got to be careful in that chicane.
Makes me wonder if Lando Luoto running a little bit more wing than his competitors right now. Not quite having the top end from what we're seeing. So as those 3 stay in line, let's jump back up to that fight for 3rd that Lepisto is leading, because they're still incredibly tight between one another.
Yeah, Joe, and all it takes is one small little bobble, certainly getting through 5, a good way to avoid trouble. But one little mistake yet when you're this close, hopefully you can get through it and take advantage of that. Man, look at that run. Gerd hanging in there, and Journo Prix right up on the wing of Anti Lepisto.
Prix has got a very good run here. Lepisto probably going to hold to the inside. He does. Going to force him to go the long way around as Prix late onto the brakes. But not quite late enough. He holds side by side. Wow, that was close as Lepisto swings back across to take the apex. But look at the momentum on the side of Prix. The Austrian takes the 3rd place back. Incredible trust between these two.
Yes, sir. Boy, we've got a good one going today. This is just been a tremendous start to this race. 10 laps in. Still some pretty good battles in the back here. Matt Wood still trying to hold off Henrik Kamara.
This is for that 14th position. Wood, unfortunately, was looking like he'd have a great start to this race, qualifying in at 6th. He's found some pace here late in the season. Doesn't seem to be having the races to back it up.
Joe, you can...
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say you can go as far back as 19th right now. That is, possession is in question. Robert Simpkins making a charge at Francisco Gutierrez. Robert Long in that battle as well.
Around a track like Road Atlanta where it's difficult to pass through most of it, possession for Gutierrez is 9/10 of the battle. So he manages to hold off Simpkins and Long just at an arm's length right now. This is going to be their best opportunity. Hoping for a launch out of 7. Neither of them seeming to get it, though. Simpkins, though, in trouble as Long starting to use that slipstream. Going to look to the inside, and I think he's got it.
Good move there. I said earlier, that's where we're going to see a lot of action today. That's probably the best passing opportunity on this track.
Certainly seems to be the case. Turn 6, to me, would be really the only other good opportunity around here. Although we've seen some tries into turn 1. Whoa, big moment there for Simpkins as he gets a wheel off into the dirt. Sorry, we had switched away from that. We'll go back to the replay. This was a great catch, though, here, Sean.
Yeah, it really was. Good racecraft there by Simpkins. He's able to reel that back in, keep her going.
We're going to watch on board one more time. Just a left wheel off on entry. And I'm sure the wake from that car ahead did not help. You can see he's got a little bit of damage on that front wing, and then, whoo! Nice catch.
Yeah, really nice catch, because the alternative is running out off to the left there, Joe, and that is no man's land out there.
Certainly not. Let's jump up to 5th place because Gerd Hoffer... Oh, actually, no, we've got a battle here. Back in 19th. This is Shoemake and Gutierrez side by side down into the chicane. Oh, excuse me, Gutierrez and Long, rather. Long loses out on that one as Gutierrez managing to get himself back up into 19th. Having qualified there.
Hey, he set that up well, Joe.
Let's jump back up to the battle for 3rd. Prix has extended over Lepisto, and Lepisto, despite his early pace, is now under threat from Hoffer.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Ante was maybe overdriving it just a bit, maybe abuse the tires a little bit here in the first dozen laps of this race. It has allowed Gerd to kind of reel him in.
We ride on board with Hoffer, the DH driver, poking and prodding, seeing what he can do on the back of Lepisto as they come through the blind turn 3, getting to the power through 4, and now down through the valley of the S's. Doesn't look like he's going to have a chance here. Hoffer continuing to have problems, but up at the front, Norlampi has started to extend the gap over Urcola. It's been slow work, but after 13 laps, he's gotten it up to 2.5 seconds over the Finn.
Yeah, well, they've had to start navigating through some lap traffic already here, Joe. And anytime you have to get around traffic, it changes your line a little bit. But Yuha doing a good job here so far. And you know what? Alex Q I'm just noticing Alex Q is really starting to kind of catch up on Gerd Hofer.
Behind him, my goodness, did you see Francois Gagne taking off the track because Nicola Cocci didn't expect him to slow that quickly. Here we're going to ride on board with Cocci. Watch how quickly he catches. Was not expecting it.
Oh, boy.
You can see that McLaren almost needing to go off into the kitty litter just to avoid from being hit.
Yeah, well, Gagne did a really, really good job. That could have been so much worse. That was damage control there for sure. Great work by him. Shame he lost so much in that.
Unfortunately, it's one of the pitfalls of being a back marker. If you don't have the same pace, you have to keep an eye in your mirrors. Meanwhile, looking at this battle, Q overtaking more cars as he laps Michael Hillard.
I mean, Gerd is just now a little over a second in front of Alex. Really good drive by this driver today. Gerd up in front of him and almost lifted Ante up off the ground about a half a track ago. Those two really still fighting hard, Joe.
This could be the battle of the race as Prix now finally getting his legs under him. is extended to over 2 seconds over Lepisto and is not under threat, although mistakes could bring them back in. Hoffer continuing to blink out every once in a while on my screen.
Yeah, same here, Joe. Boy, I hope that stables out for him. He can finish this race.
He's not going to want to get into a battle if he's having those sorts of connection problems. How about Linda Luoto, though? Hassling Kochi now after his problems dealing with traffic. The Finn has rocked up to the back of the Italian. And as they come off the critical turn 7, he might be within the slipstream here.
He is, Joe.
That he doesn't necessarily have the top end.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't look like he's really getting a good run at him, and it could just be as simple as a wing setting. Doesn't even get him here to the chicane.
He's going to have to work on that here, figuring out the secrets of this Lotus 79, how to set it up to be competitive within a pack, racing with other cars. As he still holds on to the back, now down to turn 1. The wake probably going to make it difficult to hold on. John Stevens expressing some displeasure about something, and I'm not sure what happened. I'm checking to see.
Yeah.
A little bit of traffic in the form of Hillard.
Yeah, Hillard really struggling right now, Joe. He was off the track, came back on the track, and I think Stevens just, it was a scary moment. Had trouble getting by him there.
Hillard, last car running, only one retirement so far, and that is Steve Sarles, and I think he might have been a did not start. So we look at this battle in 16th. This is Bichard and West. Coming up to turn 6, West in the blue machine in the back. The Essex car, qualified in 21st, has made steady results so far, up to 17th. He's got a good run here on the backstretch. This is going to be a great opportunity for a pass, but he's going to have to do it the long way around.
You know, despite Bichard's early trouble, though, really still having a decent drive up a few spots.
Oh, Barry West outbrakes himself. Oh, wasn't fully off to the racing line. I'm not sure why he was drifting to the left there, but that really cost him, as he's now a full 1 second back from Bichard. He's going to have to recoup and try and come back at him later. Going up to 13th, Clifton Cockrell has Livius Mahescu trying to run him down, just about a half second back as they come through turn 5. Oh, and Benzinger.
Oh. Yeah, Benzinger. He had trouble, Joe, coming out of the first turn. Pretty sure that's where it was, but he went off and into the wall.
No, it looks like down into the S's, I'd say. Yeah, there we go. Does he actually touch? Oh, just barely.
Yeah, and that was right in front of Lepisto. The battle of Lepisto and Jared Hoffer were having in Alex Q.
Michigan driver showing some patriotism with his paint scheme today. Unfortunately, his driving not backing up the pride.
That is a good one, Joe. Don't want to get the giggles again today.
Sorry.
Man,
jumped up to 14th here. Still hunting, Livius still hunting Cockrell. Now he's got Kamara behind him as well, Sean.
Yeah, Kamara looking to be a factor in this. Joe, I just checked on our battle between Tapani Linalauto and Nicola Kochi, and boy, Tapani's got him dead to rights right now. The question is, can he actually pull something off here?
This is the closest we've seen him.
Nicola went very defensive.
Oh, look at the braking difference between them, though. Linalauto looking strong. He's going to have the nose in on the second apex, but again, can't get the run off the corner, and this has invited Steve Bycroft to the party.
Here comes Steve Bycroft.
Let's stay on this battle, but Nora Lampi, our leader, had a bit of a problem a couple laps ago, lost a half second or so on Ruokola, and the gap has shrunk just slightly up for the lead. Uluoto doing everything he can in the sections where he can use that downforce to try and get close to Kochi, but he's dropped off after turn 5. He's going to have to try and get right back up under him if he wants to make a move here. Once again, he's fallen back, and as we've seen on the backstretch, this is not a strong suit for the Finn.
Okay, so I went up and I went and checked on what's going on with our leader, Juha Norolampi and Kalle Ruokola. Ruokola really starting to make some better time. Not necessarily, yeah, he was faster than Juha on that lap, and starting to close things down. It's just over a second and a half. Maybe when they get around turn 7, it might be time for Kalle to make up a little bit more ground, as we've now gone past the halfway point of this race. Really, I think this might be a fight here pretty soon, Joe.
The Ligier driver can see him, and he can smell blood in the water, knowing that that gap has come down. It's now down to 1.6, 1.5 even. I think you could be right. Ruokola has got the afterburners on and is pushing.
This is exactly what the Ligier team needs here today, Joe, is a good run by Ruokola. Clifton Cockrell having a decent run here so far.
Yeah, he's doing a valiant effort of holding off Livius and Henrik behind him for that 13th spot. And we've seen Clifton over in the Sox Out Racing League, how hard he'll defend, how hard he'll fight. So I think these two have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, and you've got Frisch and Simpkins there for Abelat, and of course we've been following Frisch. We know where he's at. Simpkins all the way back in 21st. So right now Ligier does have the edge.
Good run for them today. How about Alex Q, though, on Hofer? Hofer has dropped off of Lepisto, and the number 7 of Alex Q is now all over the gearbox of Gerd Hofer.
I don't know if Alex Q can actually get to the podium, but I certainly think he can get to 4th. He has really put in some great laps here today, and as I said, I think this is his first appearance with us on one of these Sunday broadcasts, and boy, it's been fun watching him get around here.
Well, unfortunately, this is a bit of a stalemate right now, so why don't we take a little bit of a peek of something we haven't looked at, but Anson Bennett and Peter Knezzi, apologies if we've been getting your name wrong, Peter, but these two have been having quite a battle back and forth for most of the race. It's for farther down, 22nd position, but every position counts out here.
Yeah, it really does. Now, Anson's got to watch his mirror here, because here comes Nicola Kochi right behind him. Nicola's opened up things just behind him there with that set battle he was having with Tapani.
This is lap traffic. Kochi coming through. This could interrupt. Oh, Kochi made a mistake, actually. Sorry to interrupt there, but Kochi almost spinning the car off the track through 5, and yet it still doesn't invite Lando Luoto up to his gearbox yet. This might, though, with traffic. Oh, look at this. He got held up big time through turn 7. Lando Luoto with a great run, coming up to the back of him now. Trying to use the draft of the lap car of Bennett.
You can't, whoa,
who is that?
Car stopped on the track. That was
Benzinger.
Dwayne Benzinger.
I think, what in the world? He was just going incredibly slow down the backstretch.
He stopped
damaged
there
from something earlier?
No, he stopped there to let traffic get by, Joe, and he was crawling. He never came to a complete stop. But man, that was pretty scary for all those drivers coming down through there.
Unusual method. He could have taken off a number of times, but he managed to let everybody through. Well, unfortunately, with Kochi and Linda Luoto going through that battle for 22nd, that means Bennett has fallen off of Kinesi. And I'm just going to hazard a guess. With Peter is hailing from Illinois Club, I'm going to say that he's maybe from the Chicago area. That's a very Polish-looking name.
Konecny would certainly be Polish, yes. In fact, here in my hometown, I was at the Polish Town Fair last Sunday afternoon, Joe.
I'm jealous.
I had a Zeppeli upon my leaving there, which is
making me
fried
hungry.
dough, a little powdered sugar. So
Peter running in 22nd today. A little bit of damage on the front, so that hasn't been a perfect race, unfortunately, for that yellow machine. 13th, really starting to get a little hectic over there. Well, maybe not hectic, but certainly interesting. Cockrell, he's been holding off Kamara and Livius, and Livius actually been overtaken by Kamara. And Barry West now in this fight as he tries to the inside with Flourish Bashar waiting in the popcorn position. These three fighting has caused them to drop off a little bit from camera. So we watch this. Only 2 retirements. We've had 3 retirements, actually, I should say, is Sarles, Gagne, and Hillard.
up front, not much has changed with the gap. Cairo Cola a little under a second and a half behind our leader, Juha Norlampi.
Another car slow on track, Francisco Gutierrez, petering along the backstretch. He must have some sort of damage. Oh, he looks very damaged.
Oh boy.
As he's off track. Does he have anybody coming up behind him? Matt Wood in 12th right now, but I think he'll be able to get to the pits. I'm going to go back and take a look and see if I can figure out what happened to Gutierrez, because that looks suspect.
You know what?
Oh, it's turn 5. On this very lap, yeah. All right, we've got it. This is the replay coming up into the corner we always talk about here, Sean, is here he's letting traffic through 4. And now up into 5, you're going to see this rear brake loose, and he catches it about 2 times, and then the 3rd time was enough to take him to the tires.
Yeah, a decent hit. You know, it's funny. He not funny, but he got back going again, and then I saw him have trouble coming out of turn 7 right in front of Steve Bycroft. Bycroft was lucky to get by that, but it did slow him down just a bit. He had been catching Tapani Linaluto and Nicola Kochi.
We saw in the replay, that was actually missed. That was in front of second place Ruokola, who has now got it down to 0.8 of a second. He might be within the draft in Norlampi.
Yeah, Norlampi up there trying to break that, Joe. Side to side for Juha.
Traffic ahead of him, Randy Shoemake and Robert Long, who are battling for position. Gets a little bit of a draft here from Shoemake, who's going to pull over, lift, and let him through. Looks like, is he going to allow Ruokola through, though? Oh, he tries to come back to the line. Wow! Ruokola in deep, off to the grass. He's not going to be happy about that one.
Oh, man. Much time lost there.
What was down to 0.8 is now up to 2 seconds. That is just what Norlampi needed to get some breathing space.
10 laps left to go, and boy, there was a sigh of relief in the cockpit there of that machine.
The preacher's prayers have been answered as we watch him deal with more traffic now, this time in the form of Robert Long. Pulls over before turn 6, lets him through. What's Ruokola going to get this time? Up Into turn 7, not really held up by Long. But is Long aware enough of what's happening? Is he going to lift and let him through? That traffic did hold up Noralampi enough that he lost about a second. It's down to 1.5. It is yo-yoing back and forth.
Flores Bichar, big spin out of turn 12. Spins it all the way around and doesn't actually hit anything. Gets the car turned around and back in the right direction here on the replay.
Let's watch here. Whoa. My goodness. Not often you get away with a full 180-degree spin out of turn 12, not hit anything and keep going.
Yeah, those walls come up really, really quick there, Joe. You almost bounce around like a ping pong ball there.
Up to Lepisto. Hoffer has gained ground on him. He's still got Alex Q behind him. I think maybe there was a pass attempt even from Hoffer. I'm going to take a look and see where this was. Oh yeah, it was down into the chicane. Lepisto went defensive. Hoffer disappeared for a moment. They were side by side and just couldn't execute. Shoemaker's going to get in the mix of this in the form of lap traffic. Oh, and look at the slipstream here for Gerd Hoffer as he comes up just like we saw last time. I wonder if Lepisto also has high downforce on that machine with the way that we're seeing Hoffer gain ground.
Here comes Alex Q. He's really picked up Jared there off of the last turn.
Up into turn 1, not close enough to get it side by side quite yet, unfortunately.
You know, I suspect that maybe Q might be running a little bit too much downforce. Don't know how much experience he's got with the car or working with these sets, but that seems to be what's costing him right now because his line, his trip around, it's been great, Joe. He's not made many mistakes.
Certainly has been impressive here on what we believe to be his debut on the Sunday broadcast. Wow, that was a close moment with Robert Long and Antti Lepisto pulled out just in time. And this is given an opportunity to Hoffer. He's side by side once again, this time much farther ahead though. Lepisto ducks in back behind. A defensive move from Gerd down into the chicane ensures that he is now into 4th.
Great time to make that move by Jared Hoffer. That's going to get him into 4th, like you said, Joe, with 7 laps to go across the line here. Not a bad place to be for Jared. 3 seconds away is Journo Frisch.
Lepisto had a bit of wheel spin coming out of the chicane, but Q couldn't take advantage. He's now looking at the rear of the Finn, trying to see if he can do anything with him instead. Frisch getting on the radio, thanking the lap traffic, letting him through. He's about 4 seconds back from Rucola, holding about a second back from our leader, Noralampi. So come down the backstretch. He might be able to get within the draft if he can just get a couple more tenths on him. He's going to run out of opportunities. There are going to be 6 to go at the line here. If you're just joining us, this is round 11 of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Noralampi took the pole. He's been holding it since the drop of the green.
Boy, I really get a sense, though, that Callie is, really got one last charge in him. It's just over a second. Newhaus still got to work through some traffic. Dwayne Benzinger right up in front of him. They might even catch Forrest Bijar.
Benzinger's pulling over, going to let them through here. Everything behind them just about half a second apart. Looking around to see if there's any other close battles we need to get to. I see that Livius has caught up to Henrik Camera back in that 14th spot. And they're not too far behind Clifton Cockrell, who's lost a lot of ground on Matt Wood somehow, 17 seconds back. So if they battle, they have no worries about losing more time on the cars ahead because they're already well behind.
Yeah, Cockrell sitting solid there in 14th right now, and it is a good battle behind him. Kamara trying to hold off Olivia's here.
Cockrell in the 13th position, actually, we're seeing on our timing and scoring right now.
My bad.
It's okay, but those
He's in the
three
14.
start to separate. Yes, it's confusing.
You know, Barry West kind of hanging on to that too as well, Joe.
Making it a 4-car fight.
Yeah.
Oh, but was that... I thought I saw a puff of smoke over the top of the hill, but usually you don't see that with wheel spin. Usually that's under the brakes and you're not braking for that corner. That was unusual. Up into turn 3 they go. Livius looking the most confident through that corner, gaining a lot of ground on camera. All of them just about holding steady, but this is our closest fight on the track at the moment. We'll jump back to the front if that starts to heat up, and Norlampi has extended his gap to 2 seconds over Ruokola.
Yeah, things just got really spread out up front, Joe, but Juha Norlampi still having to work his way through traffic as he tries to get by Ansa Benet out of turn 7. He'll be able to clear him here on the straight, but man, it was awful close down there in turn 7.
I didn't expect traffic to be this much of an issue, but I guess I should have with the laps being this short. Certainly has come into play much more than I expected. Camera's got a great run on Cockrell for turn 1, but he runs out of track before he can execute the pass. He has closed up significantly now, within 0.3, and look at how they accordion together through 3. Now down to 3 laps to go. Drivers are running out of opportunities. Braking for turn 7. Barry West now on the back of these guys once more. Waiting to see if something develops, if maybe he could get a chance to sneak through if they start fighting side by side.
These guys have played it well for sure. It's been a good clean battle. I just gotta wonder here though, over these last 3 laps, is something gonna erupt?
It keeps teasing like it's going to. They're all incredibly close, but no one seems to be able to get within reach to try and send one up the inside somewhere.
Should we take a...
What's that?
I was gonna say, should we take a pick of who we guess might try and send one up the inside? Because I'm gonna pick Levisu. Easy for me to say.
We'll need to get him in the booth at some point and ask him how to pronounce his name. Central Eastern Europe is never kind to us here on GSRC.
Well, the translator said Livius. Okay, so, and I just keep messing it up when I try to say it.
Livius sounds right to me, looks right to me, but he's under threat because here comes Barry West with a great run on him. Down the backstretch, peaks to the inside, but the extra air on the front of that car slows him down. He's going to have to be brave on the brakes. Both of them send it in a deep. Livius, you were right about him being aggressive at the end. He is going to fend him off. Beautiful job. All right, white flag is being unfurled as Juha Norlampi comes around turn 12. We talked about this being a critical race for his championship hopes. He took the pole. He's led every lap so far. He's held Calle Ruocola at bay. He's capitalized when Gernot Frisch hasn't seemed to have the pace for the first time in weeks. As the Austrian is all the way down in third, it's not going to be a big swing, but it's going to be something. As Norlampi takes it through the S's, half a lap to go to take the win today.
It's certainly going to help his team in the points.
I'd have to check my stats. I'm not sure when the last time was Juha won on the broadcast race. It's been a while.
It has. I'm trying to recall just off the top of my head, and I just can't do it right now.
We'll have to look that up during the break. The number 6 takes it down the backstretch. All he has to do here is brake cleanly and safely through the chicane, down to that first apex, just over the second one, looking beautiful as he goes by the car of Livius, who's off. We'll get to that later, but coming to the line, Juha Norlampi takes the win at Road Atlanta. Ruocola takes second. Frisch rounds out the podium.
Joe, we will have to catch the replay because it got down to Barry West and Livius getting together down in the chicane is how that ended. They were fighting down the back stretch, down into 10A.
West was just a nose ahead, but on the outside, he goes off track, and when he returns, just clips him. Oh, goodness. Disappointing after what was looking like it'd be a great fight between the two.
Yeah, and West just misses the entry there. He comes back across. You see what happened there. That's unfortunate. I'm sure West didn't mean to do that. It's just that's how it worked out. That car he obviously didn't have it fully back under his control yet.
And what's worse for Livius is that put him a lap down from the leader at the last moment, which meant he had no attempt to retaliate, to kind of try and take the position back. So West continued on an extra lap. With that, we are going to go to break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Sean's going to take you to the end with the interviews as I have to get ready for the Absolute Beginners broadcast. Don't go away because we'll have the official results as well as all the upcoming races here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
Round 11 of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship is in the books. And today, Juha Norlampi gets a little bit of what he needed this season, and that's a big win today. Congratulations to him. Kalle Ruokola with a great run will finish second. Jarno Frisch just seemed to struggle here a bit today, and Road Atlanta will finish third. Gerd Hofer fourth. Antti Lapisto fifth. Alex Q, the newcomer, has a great run today, finishing sixth. Nicola Kochi seventh. Did a good job of keeping Tapani Linalauto just behind him in eighth. A good run for Steve Bycroft today. Started 11th, finishes 9th. John Stevens, the New Englander, will finish 10th. Pablo Lombarda Suarez, the Iberian, 11th today. Matt Wood, 12th. Matt had his struggles today. He finishes 12th. Clifton Cockrell, the man from Texas, finishes 13th. Henrik Kamara, he'll finish 14th. Barry Weston, 15th. Levisu Mihaisku will finish 16th. Robert Long in 17th. Randy Shoemake, 18th. Another man from Texas there. Robert Simpkins, the New Jersey driver, will finish 19th today. Peter Konechny, 20th. Floris Bichar, 21st. 22nd, Anson Benet. Dwayne Benzinger, 23rd. Francisco Javier Gutierrez finished a little bit further back than we're used to seeing him, 24th today. Michael Hilliard, Francois Gagne, and Steve Sarles unfortunately never got out of the box. But I'll tell you who did get out of the box. It was Juha Norlampi doing it from the pole. Juha, congratulations. That's exactly what you needed today, was a good win, especially since the way the last race went for you.
Well, yes, Sean. Thanks. It was a great race, but it's too late. Geraint is gone. Too late. But anyway, it's nice to win sometimes. But well, it was very tough because Kalle had a very good pace, and I don't like that blind turn there. Is it turn 3 or 4, which is upper hill and then to the right? And there was one mistake which took me by surprise, and I lost there half a second. But well, that's the nature of this track.
Well, talk about the start just a bit, because it really seemed like Jarno had really struggled there at the start, and it really allowed you to get a good jump on the rest of the field.
Well, I don't exactly recall the start anymore, but well, I think that I had a good start, and after that there was a battle with Kalle and Geraint, and I think Kalle took opportunity better to drive this first turn, and I don't know where was the overtaking taking place, but well, it was exciting to, after qualifying, which I didn't know was I quick enough, because first lap was quite bad, and second lap I missed the last part, and I was over 3 tenths faster there, but well, I see it was good enough for the pole.
Yeah, it was, buddy. And now tell the fans, I saw you in the practice before this race, and you had shared with me that when you tried to run the race before this one, the official race just before this one, you didn't even make it out of the first lap. So a complete reversal of fortune from that race to this one for you.
Yeah, Sean, yes. I don't know. It was netcode, and it was a real bad netcode, because Matt Wood was far away from my right rear tire, and suddenly we just collapsed, and we both ended up there. And after that there was huge problems with my network, and I don't know if that was with somebody else's, because there was disconnected errors in many racers before the race, and I was afraid that I couldn't even try to make a qualifying or even race, but there was a miracle, and everything just went fine then, and it was worth a while to take a little prayer to the Heavenly God, and it helped.
Well, listen, Juha, congratulations again, buddy. Go relax for the rest of the evening, and we'll see you next week for the final round here in the championship. You did everything you could today, and it was up to the rest. Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, let's see if I can race next week, or if I can, and if I want to, because this championship is over for me. I just catch 1 point for Gernot's lead, but let's see. Thanks for your interview, and good luck.
All right, Juha, and again, congratulations to him. Always love talking to Juha Norlampi. Now let's talk to another driver who had a pretty decent run out there today. Barry West started 21st, and he manages to come home in 15th. Barry, talk about the struggle out there on track and the fighting for position here at Road Atlanta.
Well, it was very difficult for me. I knew I was faster than the guys in front, but I just couldn't get past them because my top gear was too low. I kept topping out before we got to the braking area, so I could get level. And then I just did a do or die effort on the last lap to try and get past Liversu, and I thought I was past him, and then the brakes locked, and I went straight on, and I looked left and couldn't see him, and when I came back on track, I just caught his back wheel, so big apologies to him. But I did wait for him, but he must have gone into the barriers, I suppose. I don't know what happened. But yeah, it was a very hard race. We had a race earlier which was colder temperatures, and that was a pleasure to drive, but this was just hard work all the way. Keep focus on the track and the braking points, and tyres were it's like ice. But it looked a good spectacle from where I was sat anyway, so I don't know what you guys made of it.
Well, that battle between you and Livius, it was a really, really good one. We had our eyes on it there in the closing laps of the race. It's a shame that it ended like that for both of you. But listen, Barry, it was a great drive, man. A lot of fun watching you guys today. Next week, we have the final round, and will you be ready for that?
I will be, yeah. I mean, we had some bad luck early on. I don't know if you caught that on camera. My teammate came back and joined me, and then he let the 3 cars in front go, and then I had to, let him go because I'd have done a Perez on him otherwise, and that cost me big because I was just shaping them up and tyres were fresher, so I think I could have got there. I mean, I was up with Pablo early in the earlier race and could hold Pablo, so it was really frustrating, but I had some great racing with Henrique Camara early on in the race. We were level a few times and we gave each other plenty of room going through the corners, so it was it was good fun.
Well, a lot of class and a lot of skill in this race today, and you were definitely one of the guys we call the class of the field, Barry. Thanks a lot for talking to us this week, man. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we get a chance to talk to you again.
Yeah, thanks very much.
All right, that's Barry West, and now we've caught up with Nicola Kochi. Kochi had quite a drive out there. Now, you started 7th, you finished 7th, Nicola, but that wasn't for lack of battling. You had some pretty good fighting going out there with several drivers today.
Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, I had like a pretty decent couple of battles, and even I was overtaken on the outside, I think 2 times. So I don't think that's action lacking in this race.
No, it wasn't lacking at all. There was plenty of excitement. Tapani Linnaluto was right behind you, and it just looked like maybe Tapani had missed it on the setup. Didn't seem like he had enough speed to just get around you.
Yeah, I think that he has the same exact issue that I had yesterday when I did my first race. I was behind Steve Bycroft, and I kept the setup from the qualifying, but the top gear in that setup, it's a little too short, and I was always struggling even to keep his draft to today Tapani was struggling to give my draft, but he hadn't the chance to overtake me just because I think that he has no other races. He didn't practice a lot, so he mistaken the top speed, and in this track is very crucial.
Yeah, it definitely is. With that long straightaway, the trip out of 7 all the way down to the chicane, you've got to have that top end. And I don't think he was the only driver that was caught out by that. We saw several battles like that where the following car just not able to get in the tow and make a move around. So, you don't know if you don't ask. So that was a good question. I appreciate you filling us in on that, because that makes sense now. So, but hey, listen, we've got 1 round left. Hopefully a podium finish for you next week.
I think that's it's thinking a little bit too optimistic. In this series, there are so much fast guy that a podium I think it would be a little bit too much for me. But I'm pretty happy anyway, because me and Steve Bycroft, we are dueling very close to the second division championship. And with this race, I put it on something like 20 points leading. And I think that's another race like this for the last round. It would be perfect for me.
Well, we wish you the best next week, then. Hope for a good result for both you and Steve. We'll see you then, Nicola. Have a great evening.
Okay, thank you. Can I just make a point?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, man.
I know that in English speaking, my surname is spelled Cocci, but actually in Italian language is more like Cocchi. But just like a little tip. It's not it's not very it's not matter too much.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know, buddy. All right. Well, then we will see you next week. Thanks again for coming in and visiting with us. Have a good evening.
Okay.
ciao to Nicola Kaki, and now we will talk to Anson Benet. Anson, it was a bit of a struggle out there for you today, but you did finish the race, and you did pick up one spot. This is a fun track. Did you have fun today?
Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun. First of all, I'd just like to say congrats to Yuha. I don't know how he does it. Someone with CFS, and I am exhausted, so I could just imagine how he's doing.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. It was really my first week really doing this track on any car, and it was a lot of fun and a lot of struggle. I had a different race from everyone else, as you can tell, because one of the biggest challenges here was letting other guys pass, and I wasn't up to pace, so I had to let a lot of guys pass, and that's a different race in itself.
Yeah, well, good point there, and so letting those guys pass. Did you get? I don't know if we caught any, but did you get in any trouble with anybody, or were you able to pull that off without any trouble?
I think I wouldn't say I didn't have any trouble. It was, I have to admit, it was very, very hard at times because there was some really nice. I could see some really nice battles going on. And early on, I saw Cal following Yuha, and I let them pass in a pretty tricky spot, but I got it done. But it was a real learning experience. This track is amazing. I can't wait to.
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he missed the pit completely. He's crazy.
Try next season when I have a little more experience.
Yeah, listen, Road Atlanta's a classic, so I would suggest.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Getting in a GT3 car, certainly the Lotus 79. Try the DW12 here. Maybe even getting a
pickles on a peanut butter sandwich, banana pizza, vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, NASCAR truck around here. It's a bit of an experience. So now I've got to ask, Anson, because we met and got to talk to you last week. Is there a local racetrack there in Trinidad? Do you guys have anything there locally?
Oh, we do. We have one. It's called the Wallerfield racetrack. It was built actually during World War.
Cream with soy sauce. Strange combinations that work. Add to that list tonight's pairing. Skip Barber Formula 2000s at Daytona International Speedway. It's the absolute beginners league Formula Neagles.
When we had some U.S. troops down here, it's pretty much concrete and asphalt. The smallest track is about smaller than Road Atlanta, but it's a pretty simple kind of track, not too big, not too fancy.
So it's a road circuit?
Season 11 finale, and all the action from Green Flag to Victory Donuts can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. From the Sunshine State, welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. Way up in the press box to bring you our bird's eye view is yours truly.
Or is an oval?
It's a road circuit, definitely a road circuit. Oval isn't very popular in the Caribbean right now, so all the tracks you'd see here and Barbados would be pretty much road circuits.
Okay, so some tracks in Barbados as well?
Yeah, they have a thriving racing community. They have a large rally.
Joined by Adam Young, down in the production van, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is the hardest working man in sim race broadcasting, our director Joe Peak. And
when we finally get to see rallycross and iRacing, you'll see a lot of Barbados guys, I assume.
Cameras at his disposal have been located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru Dougie Beard. If you brought cyberspace into your...
You know, I'm almost thinking at some point you and I need to get together and we need to do like a show, Racing from Trinidad.
Over the next 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to...
With Anson Benet. I don't know. We'll talk about that. But hey, listen, you know what? Congratulations today. Good.
Appreciate the 70 minutes tonight of Skip Barber simulated racing that will immediately follow. Now, before we get into what's coming up, let's quickly recap Round 7 action, where 40 drivers took the grid at Sebring behind the Roland Estonian Aero Num. A 6-car train formed up front early with Num, Tuan Tran, David Burns, Pierce.
Good job out there, buddy.
Yeah, man, thanks. And thanks a lot for the continued excellent work on the broadcast. We really appreciate it, giving the Lotus 79 the attention it deserves.
Well, you're too kind. We thank you, bud, and we'll see you next week in the final round.
Okay, guys, take care.
All right, and that was Anson Bennett,
Bastian Hausman, and newcomer Christian Kabanka. But all the racing, all the strategy,
Bennett, I guess I should have asked him that, but always fun talking to him. Listen, we want to thank the Lotus 79.
Early pit stop, Tran, Burns, and Cocky following suit. Hausman's blindingly fast stop that got him the lead. That all boils down to a 5-car dogfight into the final turn. Now here's what happened. Num protected the inside from the lead. Tran made the move on the outside. The 2 cars got together, allowing
community for organizing this with us and getting these shows on every Sunday. We also we want to thank the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts. And we'll have those lists.
Burns and Hausman to shoot through and go 1-2 under the checkered flag. For Burns, it was his 2nd win of the season. Cocky took evasive action and glanced off the wall. He had to settle for 5th. Num was able to limp the car home in 3rd, even though he tried to surrender the spot back to Tran, who ended up 4th on the iRacing timing and scoring. But honestly, words don't do justice to the action. If you missed it, just watch it. And now, that brings us to what's going on here tonight. Now, Adam, it took Formula Eagle 48 races to finally find its way to Sebring, and I guess the series organizers found alligators and oranges to their liking, as the series stayed in the state of Florida, but this time, it's Daytona.
Yeah, you know, so it from one classic racetrack to another. Of course, at Daytona, no, we're not going to be on the 2.5-mile oval. We'll be on the 11-turn, 3.6-mile road course layout here, but still uses quite a bit of the oval. So drafting going to be just absolutely huge here for tonight. And of course, if you don't know Daytona, which is probably few and far between, you know that it was opened, of course, in 1959. It is the home of the Daytona 500. It home of the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona. Just everybody, if you're involved in motorsports in one way or another, you probably want to come to Daytona or have been to Daytona. So with a track that needs very little introduction, let's go ahead and take a lap around in today's GSRC Lap Guide.
All right, we've got Amjad Yama to the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Daytona. Around the tri-oval and into turn 1, most cars require you to swing wide for the entry, but the underpowered Skippy is still fast, hugging the inside line. You'll let it drift out after braking and kind of take it as a double apex corner. The extra speed from the draft will probably make it easy to overshoot into there, so expect some big mistakes by drivers. Weave through the chicane, and then after the pit exit, bring the car all the way to the left. The International Horseshoe will offer a place to pass, and if you can get it done, try your best to pull away, or else your opponent will just slipstream by once again on the oval. Be sure to square off the exit for better speed up to the next horseshoe. After that,